So, what did I do last night? Uh, Watching the news with the wife, and we channel hopped a little bit. Landed up on Al Jazeera. I must say, I really like Al Jazeera. Yeah, let me give Al Jazeera a bit of a punt. I like Al Jazeera. It's global. You watch CNN International and international in inverted commas. They just stick to American stories. I watched Al Jazeera. We looked at Yemen. Who knew that Bangladesh was such a bad country? Extrajudicial killings. It turns out Bangladesh is not so wonderful. People have disappeared over the years. They had this whole thing where all these family members holding up photos of their missing fathers, missing sons. Where's my father? Where's my father? Where's my son? I'm telling you, it doesn't look good. I've got to be honest with you. I'm not an expert. You haven't seen your son since 2016. There's been no trace of him. Chances are you're not gonna see him ever again. That is the sad reality. Am I being callous? I don't think so. I'm just being realistic. So Al Jazeera all over the world. Stories all over. They even moved to America. I must correct myself from yesterday. Turns out that Hurricane Edna, I said she was just a Category 1 hurricane. Sorry, Category 4. Category 4, very serious. New Orleans is not looking good. I assume that some of the Afghan refugees that are being flown to America, I assume they're not going to be planted in New Orleans. I don't think those Afghans, imagine you put these Afghans that come from this dry, sandy, rocky Afghanistan, and you put them in New Orleans. Chances are that they can't swim, first of all. So they're probably in dry land, I assume. So there you have it, hey? Just 2 months short of 20 years occupation of Afghanistan. Kinchmain, and what did they achieve? And I looked at a posting on Facebook this morning from the Media Review Network. Media Review Network, a Muslim lobby group, a media group supporting Palestinian rights, Muslim rights all over the world, with a lot of focus on the Palestinian cause, Palestine/Israel. They're very, very happy that America has left Afghanistan, and they're happy that the Taliban are there. That for me, as being neutral, it's kind of confusing for me because I acknowledge America should not have been there in the first place. Or if they go in and go out again. I mean, once you discover that nothing's going on, once you can't find Osama bin Laden. I mean, once they killed Osama bin Laden in Abbottabad in Pakistan, he wasn't even in Afghanistan. That was 10 years. Do you know that it's 10 years ago that they took out Osama bin Laden? Why did they stayed in Afghanistan? Should have left Afghanistan a long time ago. But here is the thing. I'm not a fan of the Taliban. The Taliban? Sharia law? Not into it. Doesn't seem very friendly. Just a story this morning. Some folk singer guy in a little village just north of Kabul, an Afghan man, he was dragged from his house, and the Taliban, they shot him in the head. They killed him. So doesn't bode well. But we look at corruption, we look at wastage, we look at that kind of thing. Look just from a South African context, the arms deal, the Guptas, it's going into billions and billions of rands. I reckon the biggest wastage and the biggest corruption story ever in the history of the world is probably this occupation of Afghanistan. They poured $2 trillion into Afghanistan over 20 years. I'd like to know who was in charge of the so-called military training of the Afghan army. They spent trillions of dollars training this Afghan army. I'm telling you now, no training happened. Definitely. It's like obvious. Somebody needs to get to the bottom of this. I reckon huge corruption. I reckon a whole bunch of people took billions of dollars to do training and nothing came of it. I'm telling you now, nothing came of it. Other story I saw, Lionel Messi played his first game. This is soccer, football in case you don't know. He played his first game for Paris Saint-Germain. In case you didn't know, Lionel Messi, best soccer player in the world, they think. He left Barcelona. He left Barcelona after 20 years. He's 34 years old. How old is he? 32. He's 34 years old. He signed a two-year deal with Paris Saint-Germain. He came on as a replacement. He had some nice touches. He looked good. He looked all right. But you know what? He's not the Moshiach of soccer. What? The world still continued turning. He's not that. He's very good, but he's not that. He's not as good as everyone thinks everyone makes out. He's not Pelé. He's not Maradona. You think he's Maradona? You think he's Pelé? Come on. No ways. I'm sorry. In fact, you know what? I think David Beckham was better. There, I said it. He couldn't even play a whole game. You pay all that money, you get this special player that can't even play a whole game. And who did he replace? He replaced Neymar, the Brazilian Neymar, who's also like the other Moshiach, one of the Moshiachs standing. We idealize and we continue and we make a big fuss about people, and it's just out of proportion, completely out of proportion. And that's my final word on it. Don't know what else to say. Update on my birthday plans. Birthday plans have changed up and down. Now it's a little get together. It was yesterday it was a get together, but now then it changed to just a going out with Bernice and the daughter. Then now it's gone back to, it's changed 3 times. Now it's going back to this thing. Difficult to make plans with some people. You know, I've got my cell phone with me all the time. It's like my penis. It's like my second pair of. It's like my genitals. If my cell phone's not with me, it's like I don't have my genitals. Same thing. Cell phone, genitals, but not with my 2 friends. We've got this little WhatsApp group. It's called Dinner for Schmedricks, and I send a message in the morning, about 11. I get a response 7 o'clock last night. Then I respond straight away. This morning, still no response. And here is the thing. Last night at 7, when he sent the message, I saw the message pop up and I responded straight away. He still hasn't responded. And the other friend, he hasn't responded to anything yet. Very difficult to make arrangements with people like this. I don't know what to say. At least I mentioned Sirhan last night. Sorry, yesterday. What did I say last night? Sirhan, he is the man convicted of assassinating Robert Kennedy back in 1968. So they're arranging his farewell party now at the penitentiary, because he's been there in jail for 53 years. So his parole was accepted, as I mentioned yesterday, 16th parole appeal, and it was accepted. Mazel tov, simmer tov, and they don't just let you go straight away. And the man's 77, they have to orientate him. Imagine they show him a cell phone. What? They're going to show him a cell phone. The last time he saw something like that, it was like the detonator for a remote control bomb. You might think, no, that's not my life anymore. I don't do remote bombs. I mean, that's what his reaction might be, because he hasn't seen a cell phone before. But having said that, I don't know what happens with people in jail. It's whether you blocked from the outside world just to a certain degree. Has he had access to TV? Maybe he's been on the internet for all we know. For all we know, maybe he's got a better phone than me. Sirhan Sirhan. So they're organizing his farewell party because I think he only gets released in a week or two. I don't know how it works. I think it'll be all hush hush. It's not going to be TV cameras of him walking out. It'll be all hush hush. Will they give him an assumed name? But you lived with Sirhan for 77 years. It's difficult to change. Who knows what his faculties are like? The man's 77. He might not have his faculties. You can't start teaching a 77-year-old, who might have mild dementia, can't start teaching him a new name. So this whole witness protection, change of identity, probably not gonna go well. So the party, the organizers of the farewell party, they very limited. They wanted to put decorations, kind of like a pink Marilyn Monroe type theme, type genre, with the connection with the kid. They put a stop to it straight away. So not even allowed ribbons, or not even allowed where you throw those things. It's called banting, it's called bunting. Because the one year one of the inmates got strangled. They were releasing somebody, and somebody got strangled with a bit of the ribbon. Ribbon. Yeah. Got to be careful. You put a man in jail. He's there for a reason. But Sirhan, he's now free. Bit of feedback. Please again, check out my YouTube channel. This is a sore point. Oh. If you go to YouTube and you search Damon Kalvari, you won't find it's like not there. Do me a favor, go to my WhatsApp. No, not my WhatsApp. I keep on saying WhatsApp. Go to my Twitter, my Facebook. There'll be a link to my YouTube. And then you can subscribe and comment. So, got an interesting comment. At first I was annoyed. Then I thought, let's deal with this. Damon, I'm not trying to be argumentative. I'm not pro-vaccine nor anti-vaccine. Okay, that already that's got my hairs like prickling. I mean, you're not pro-vaccine nor are you anti-vaccine. I think I've had 6 vaccines in my lifetime as a baby. Never had a flu vaccine. Now, this is where it gets... Have you done any research regarding vaccines? In depth, and she puts in depth in big capital letters. A big thing that I'm concerned about is fertility. Ironically, I don't want children. This is a woman. Sorry, her name's Claire. But I think it's going to be a concern for humanity going forward. What do you think? Here is the thing, Claire. First of all, why don't you want children? Come on, Claire. You are a viewer of this channel. You're obviously highly intelligent. You have good taste. Do you want to waste your genes? What are you scared of, Claire? Scared of motherhood? Or maybe you're single. Maybe you're not married. Maybe you don't have a life partner. Claire, you can do it. You got family can help you. Don't waste those ovaries. Have one child. I can tell you it'll be the worst thing you ever do in your life and the best thing you ever do in your life, all in one. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that a wonderful thing? Is it a dichotomy? Is it an oxymoron? Not an oxymoron. An oxymoron is a word like hot ice. I'm thinking dichotomy. Let's go with dichotomy. And what I'll do is I'll Google it later and then correct myself tomorrow. That's what I always do. So Claire, none of my business, but, have children. Come on. And then Claire asks, have you done any research on vaccines in depth? No, Claire. You know why I haven't done any research into vaccines in depth? A, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical researcher. I'm not a vaccinologist. I'm not an epidemiologist. I'm not an immunologist. I'm not a medical researcher. And I'm none of those things. It's not my job. I'm a layman. It's not my job to do research into vaccines. Here is the thing, Claire. I didn't do research into my polio vaccine. I was, what was I, 8 days old, 10 days old, 2 weeks old? I didn't do research into my polio vaccine. I didn't do research to my diphtheria vaccine, other vaccines, measles, mumps. Did I say diphtheria? I can't remember. There's all the other, I didn't do research into those vaccines because, well, obviously I was a baby. And so it's not, I don't need to do, that's not what I do. Why are so many people like you, Claire, suddenly into researching vaccines, suddenly interested in vaccines, suddenly want to do research, suddenly everybody's an academic? Some poor schlenter. There's people out there doing that for us. Somebody went to school, somebody very clever, somebody very hardworking. Well, there's lots of them, not just one person. They got 6 A's in matric, or they got 4 A's, or they got 3 A's. They went into medicine. They studied hard for 6 years. Then they did a 2-year internship. Then they specialized. Whatever. Cut long story short, 8 to 10 years later, 12 years later, 20 years later, highly qualified people that have done research on vaccines. Who the hell are you, Claire, and me and others to be researching vaccines? The vaccine works. You're concerned about fertility. Really. You're concerned about fertility. Because there's such a problem with fertility in the world. We've got overpopulation. There's no concerns about fertility. There's not a problem with fertility. If there was a problem with fertility, minuscule. The negatives, if there are any negatives, the positives, survival, not dying from COVID-19, far outweigh any far-fetched, imagined, deluded, imaginary negative side effect that you imagine might come about. Claire, what did you have for breakfast this morning? I'll tell you what I had. 2 eggs, and then my wife made this tagine, this butternut tagine. Yes. It's not my favorite meal, but now that I've stopped with the toast. And if you just have egg, you just have plain egg, it's boring. So I try to do something with the egg. So I put the tagine, it's got spinach in it as well. She also does it with couscous, but the couscous is on the side. I didn't add the couscous. I'm trying to cut down on the carbs. But what is my point now? What is my point, Claire? Do I ask the side effects of the spinach? Did I mention it's got spinach? I know spinach is high in something. Protein. It's high in something. Where was the spinach grown? Is it good spinach? What are the side effects of spinach? Butternut. Say I can ask the same question. She used canned tomatoes. She put a bit of she put some Nando's peri peri sauce. Now I must look at the ingredients on the bottle of the Nando's peri peri. We put things in our body all the time that we don't ask questions. I ate chicken sausages last night, for crying in a bucket. God knows what they put in those chicken sausages. I mean, they put stuff parts of the chicken that you don't want to think about. I ate those chicken sausages. I'm not asking questions. So just stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop asking these questions. The vaccine has been around since January. About how many? I think there's been 4.1 billion vaccines have been administered around the world. It's now been 8 months? It's now been 8 months of vaccines. If there was a problem with fertility as a side effect, poor fertility as a side effect of these vaccines, do you think perhaps we would know about it? We would know about it. Okay? It upsets me because, Claire, I know you're an intelligent person. I know you are, Claire. I feel it. I know. I've got hope. I'm confident that there's something there. There's a photo of Claire on the YouTube because she sent a comment and there's a photo of her. And she looks like she's got both her feet firmly on the ground. She looks like she's a professional. Yes, I can see, Claire, you're a professional. You're educated. Stop it. I'm not doing research into vaccines. I mean, one of my lunatic friends, associates, colleagues, he WhatsApped me a research paper about 6 months ago. I'm not reading it was on COVID-19. I'm not reading your research paper. And get this, what is his thing? What is his qualification? He went to varsity and he studied 1 or 2 years of political science and law. What is he doing reading research papers? So it's very frustrating. It's very upsetting. But I'm still glad, Claire, you sent me the message. Sorry, the comment. So keep the comments going. Don't allow my adverse reaction to stop you. And subscribe. Yesterday, the podcast went on for 35 minutes. And it went on a bit too long. Thinking maybe we should stop now. I think let's stop now before anyone else gets hurt. And we'll do this again tomorrow.